Hello again, everybody. Boyd here with you, and welcome back. Well, we're going to get you guys caught up today on our 1/350 scale Scout Destroyer class ship that we're building. We're building this as a kit bash from the original Polar Lights 350 Enterprise kit. Oh, the horror, you say, but we had a lot of fun with this, and I actually had this kit extra laying around, guys. I got it really cheap, and I decided to do a sort of a little flashback to my past as a kid. I used to do a lot of kit bashing out of the old 650 scale AMT kit, making it in all the different versions that I could from the old Franz Joseph drawings that I talked about from the 70s, and we thought we'd have some fun and do that with one of our 350 scale ships here, and I'm really having fun with this, and I'm really liking how it's turning out. I'll talk a little bit about what we did since the last video. We left off with the basic nacelle there finished up with the basic hull color on that, and then the neck is installed and some of the lighting. But we've been doing a lot of work to this since then. I've been doing some updates on this over on Facebook and over on the TrekWorks Present show that we're doing live each week, and then on a couple of the Hangouts, so you guys may have missed a little bit. And you can still go back and watch those if you want to and see what we did. We actually showed the inside of the saucer and how we did all the wiring and everything. But just a couple hours ago I finished gluing the saucer down and doing all the putty work and finishing up the seam and painting it and everything. So what I've been doing now is going and starting to add some of the decals and things like that. So we thought we'd get you caught up and talk about what we've been doing here. The first thing you'll probably notice is that we started doing some paint detail on this. And I mentioned in the beginning that I decided I wanted to give this ship the look of the way the ships look in the new remastered classic Star Trek, the way they look on the Blu-ray with the CGI models. They've accentuated the panels a lot more and shown a little bit more kind of weathering on the ships, which I think looks more realistic. These ships are in deep space for a long time, and they're also built in pieces, and now you can see, similar to what you see on the Aztec paneling on the Enterprise refit, that there are some individual panels on the classic Enterprise as well. And we did this technique here using some masks and just back spraying on the edges with these with our airbrush, and I really like how the effect came out. It looks just like it did on the CGI version. We carried on that theme here on the top and bottom of the saucer. You can see we've got these panel lines. I also noticed that the rust ring on the front of the Enterprise and the remastered Star Trek is a lot more noticeable, so we added that a little bit in here too. And as I mentioned, I just got done sealing the saucer and touching up the edges, so I'll be going and adding a few little paint streaks here and there. And in fact, the original 11-foot Enterprise actually had those on there, so that'll look pretty much right for this. But I just wanted to make this model pop a little bit more without the secondary hull and without the pylons, the engines, the shuttle bay, all that detail. This model just needed to be brought up a notch or two, I thought. It just looked too plain. And the same thing down here when we lit the chiller grill. Some people say that that was meant to be lit back on the original model, that if they would have had it in the budget or whatever, they would have done that. So I've seen a lot of people do this, and I thought it looks nice, so we decided to do that on this one. You can see we put our navigation lights here in the back, on the top and the bottom, like I talked about. I think that adds some nice detail on the back of the model there too. It doesn't look all the lighting up front and nothing at all in the rear. And starships always have taillights, so we decided to do that. And here you can see we did the bridge. Now I used the Paragraphics photo etch set for this. As you know, when you get the Paragraphics set, you get two versions. You can do either the original, the cage version from the first two pilots, or you can do the regular production version. I decided to do the cage version since I had this left over extra, and I thought maybe since it's an older ship that it might have the older style bridge in it, so we did that and got all the screens lit and everything. I used some 350 scale figures in there for the command crew, and a lot of you guys asked me about those, so I'll show those here real quick. These are made by a company called Fujima. These are World War II Japanese Navy figures in 1/350 scale. I get these through HobbyLink USA. You can look them up easily online. These are easy to get, and even though they're Japanese Navy figures, guys, trust me, when you paint them in their Starfleet uniforms, you know, the blue and the black, the red and the black, or the mustard gold and the black, and put the flesh and the hair on them, you can't tell at all. They're so tiny, and the nice thing about them, they come in all those different positions, so you've got people that can sit, stand, and fit in all these different positions, so they really work out great. And they are true three-dimensional figures. They're not flat, so they look better than the flat photo etch figures, and they come out really nice, and you just kind of kick your model up a little bit as far as detail goes. So again, we were going for detail on this model, just to try to make it pop a little bit more. You can see I don't have my crystal clear in the side windows yet. They're kind of glaring a little bit, but all the other windows are sealed up and everything. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip the model over, and we're going to be doing some decal work on that. We've just got a couple of small decals that need to be put on it here, and then we're going to finish up and show you installing the little gray kind of fin, dorsal fin that goes here on the back, and our impulse deck, and the two parts that go on either side of the nacelle here at the rear. I should know this, right, guys, but I don't. I'm sorry. But anyway, we'll be right back with that, and we'll show you how that's working out. Oh, and one more thing there, you can see we've got the spinning Bassard there, the motor in there from Tenant Controls. That's the new motorized kit that Ralph has out. Be advised that you still have to use your own board for the lighting effect on there, and I happen to just have an extra round 2-1 laying around here, so I use that. But if you're going to use the motor, you do have to use either a round 2 board or create your own. It's just a basic chaser effect with some different LEDs flashing in there. I believe Ralph has said he's actually working on a board that'll go along with that eventually, so you'll have the whole thing. But currently it's just a couple of motors for the Enterprise kit, and the he's got a little voltage speed control so you can operate the motor at the certain speed you want to set it at. And we talked about that a little while back when we showed the saucer going together on one of the hangouts. So but anyway, let me get the camera on the tripod. We'll get the model turned over here. We'll apply our last small decals there on the bottom, and then we've got 2 more that need to go on the top here, and then we're going to install our parts and show you the lighting there at the rear for the impulse engines that are in the back as well. So we'll be right back with that in a second, everybody. So here we are, everybody, back with you, and we've got our model turned over now, and I've got a little bit of water on this. I've had a couple little decals soaking. What we're actually putting on right now is the little marking decals that go around the edges of the saucer ring here. They're just kind of like hatch covers or something like that. I'm just using the box art here for the 350 Enterprise to figure out where they go, just kind of looking over my shoulder here. It looks like we got a couple of gray ones that go right here in this kind of front section. If I remember right, I think the wording on these goes on the bottom side, so I'm just gonna kind of pick a couple spots. And again, I think this ship could look different than the Enterprise a little bit. Things would be just maybe a little bit different on this. We don't want to. Again, this build's been all about fun, and I've really enjoyed myself on this one. Let me see, we've got one more here. It looks like a little bit farther down. Let's put this guy like right about in here above this little window. And then we've got a yellow one here over to the side. I think it's, let's see if they've got it about just inside of those 2 windows there. Okay. Actually, these are quite a bit, supposed to be quite a bit further back here, so let me just slide this one up here a little bit. We'll put that one right there. It'll flatten out for me. Got a little bitty wrinkle in that when I moved it. A little extra water here and that'll straighten that out. I always keep a little bit of this decal paper around here with me too, because it seems to help straighten these things out. There we go. It's so hard to see that picture. One thing about this particular kit, the 350 Enterprise, they don't give you an actual decal placement sheet with the kit, so you've got to use the box art for reference, and it's a little bit not the greatest to see the exact spot where some of this stuff is supposed to go, but again, this one here, I'm taking a little bit of liberty with it. So we're just having a little bit of fun. Okay, at least we got it on a center line there, sort of, so it looks sort of symmetrical. I like that. I'm going to go ahead and get my towel here and get rid of the extra water and get these locked down. You can see I've already been doing the other ones here. They haven't been sealed yet with the my decal bonder, which I use all the time, my testers, and then I follow that up with this. I use this two-step process on almost every model I build, and I have not had any problems with these at all. They're meant to work together, and so they don't react or give any strange, weird things happening. So I just kind of stuck with it. I know they're simple, but they work. And you don't want to have some of this stuff is a lot of work, and you don't want to have something really, really bad go wrong there at the very end. Okay, we've got one more little guy here, a little gray one that we'll put on this side, just to kind of balance everything out. Like I said, I'm trying to go in the general vicinity that they're supposed to be on the Enterprise, but I'm not worried about being absolutely spot on, because like I said, this ship is not the Enterprise. It's something a little bit different. Okay, like that. This one here I think could stand to come over just a tiny little bit off the line there. We can move that one. There, straighten that out. Looking good, guys, looking good. And so that's already going to be about it here for the bottom of this, guys. I just got going on this and started forgot about filming anything, so I hope I showed something a little interesting right here. But what we're going to do now is we're going to I've got to let these sit a little bit before I can hit this with my bonder. I want to make sure all the water has evaporated out of there. But I'll do that. You guys have seen me do that before. Basically, I'll lay down a little bit of bonder just mainly where the decals are. I don't need to blast the whole thing. Just a light coat of this stuff is all you need. Let that dry, and then I'll hit the entire thing. We're going to hit the entire model with this dull coat here, and bring the sheen down on it a little bit. It's a little too glossy still. So we'll do that. But what we're going to show you next is we're going to be working on the impulse deck. We've got a little trick that we're going to use for diffusing the light on the back of that, and we'll put that on. We'll put the little detail part there on the spine on the top, back part of the saucer, and then we'll do our deflector dish here. So there'll be some more cool stuff to show you when we come back in just a couple seconds, guys. Hang on. All right, everybody, back with you once more, and we've been doing a little bit more work. We've got some more of our decals put on, and we finished up some of the other little small detail parts. One of the last pieces that I'm going to be putting on is this impulse deck, and I wanted to show it to you real quick on the inside here. I just used the photo etch parts, an extra set that I had left over. When you buy the photo etch, you get 2 sets of impulse grills for these models, and I had an extra set, so I used those. And then I just used some of the plastic milk jug material that you hear me talking about quite often. I trimmed a little piece of that off and put that in behind it because it's got a nice diffusion effect to it. And I tinted over the top of that with a little bit of orange Tamiya transparent paint. And we've got a really nice look to this, so I'm just going to glue this in place now. It's got a couple little tabs here on the back. I'm going to use some canopy glue. I like this because it doesn't turn brittle. And it'll stay nice over a long period of time and hold on just fine. So we've got our little tabs here. We've got it all ready to go. And you guys are getting to see one of the very last pieces being put on this model here. So just got to get it in the right spot. And there we go. And that fits down on there really nice and tight too. I like that. It's got a good fit to it. I test fitted it earlier and didn't see any light leaks or anything like that. So we'll power the model on here real quick. And you can probably see the impulse engines glowing there in the back. They've got a nice orange effect coming out of there. Looks cool. And you can see that we've got our deflector dish mounted on here now. I did that in between takes here. It's pretty straightforward. I just glued it on, and wasn't much really to show you there. You already saw the stock. What I'm going to do is pull the camera off the tripod here really quick. It's going to get bumpy for a second. And we'll have a look at the model now that she's fairly complete. I've still got to put the glass dome on the top of the bridge. That'll be one of the very last things that I do. I've got to get the decals in for our USS Hawkins, and then we'll have to dull coat that, and I don't want to get any overspray or anything on our glass dome and ruin the crystal clear look of that, so we'll leave that off until the very end. But you can see I even put these little decals that are normally on the side of the secondary hull of the Enterprise, because I figured these are some kind of markings for length or weight or displacement or something like that, so I thought there should be something on the model. And we did all the decal work on the bottom. There you can see our deflector. I really like how the back of the deflector lights up with that different colors from the Bassard collector too. That's pretty cool looking. But you can see from the front we've got it all looking just like it should. Scout ship, and everything's nice and straight. The model's leaning forward just a little bit on this base because this base is the mounting rod in the base. I had to drill the hole oversized, and I just did it kind of quick, and it wasn't centered. But when we get this in the base, our nice base, which you'll see here in another week or so, probably 2 weeks, you'll see that all mounted, and this rod will be a lot shorter. The model's probably only going to come up about this high off of the base, and we'll have that mounting rod painted black and everything, and it'll look a lot nicer. But so it's not sitting on there exactly straight right now, but the mounting rod going into the model is perfectly straight, so we'll be looking good when we get all that. There you can see our chiller grill on the bottom and all of our lighting on the bottom of the saucer. All of our markings are in place now. They all look good, and we just finished putting some micro crystal clear, actually canopy glue, I get the two mixed up all the time, in our windows here, and you can see it's starting to dry. It'll take another day or so before that's totally dry, but we've got all of our marker lights and everything on it now, and everything's working great. You remember we did the ones at the rear here at the tail, and then it's probably going to be overexposed again, but there you can see the motorized Bassard. And again, those electric motors from Tenna Controls are really, really quiet, so if you want a alternative to the round 2, if you're insisting that you want to have the motorized Bassards, check those units out from Tenna Controls. They're really, really nice. Ralph did a lot of research on those to get those the quietest motors he could find, and you don't have to modify any of your parts. They'll slide right into the original slots. Just kind of give you a look at the front of the saucer here. And, I'm going to be taking my airbrush and doing a little bit of streaking here like I talked about, and we'll finish that up, and then we'll seal this all up. But you guys will see this again once it's on the base, and all the name and everything is on it. It's a really cool looking base. Like I mentioned, Jerry came up with a sort of a schematic cutaway view of this ship, and it's going to be really cool. It's going to go with it very well. So okay guys, that's going to be it for this video. You'll see this model again here in an update a little bit further down the road, but the next video we'll be back to work on some other models that we're working on. We're doing that 1537 scale Reliant, and we're going to be doing the 2500 scale Battlestar Galactica kit, the BSG 75, and then we're also going to be working on the Thing flying saucer here coming up very shortly. So some cool stuff coming down the pipe for you guys on all the different shows that we're doing. We're really busy, so we'll see you next time, everybody. Until we do, take care, and that's a wrap. Okay, everybody, well, we're back with you really quick with some bonus footage, it looks like. I finished up the video there and walked inside and checked the mail, and lo and behold, our decals from HDA Model Works came. So we came back out here and finished doing that. I added the name on here, USS Hawkins now, and beautiful decal work there again, Jerry. Looks perfect, and it laid down slick as a whistle. So there's your name on there, Eric. I hope you enjoy this when you see this. I had a lot of fun working on this model. Like I said, something different here, something for a nice little change of pace, and I really like the results. It took me back to the old days of seeing these in 650 scale hanging from my ceiling back at the parents' house when I was a kid, and just really, really cool. And we stepped it up a notch here with some of the lighting and some of the paint detail and stuff, so I'm really pleased with this. We'll show you a little bit more when we get our base, and you'll see the final when it's on a nice rod and sitting nice and straight. You can see it's leaning forward here. My mounting rod on my base is not centered, so we'll get that all straightened out when it's mounted onto the permanent base and looking good and all tidied up. And that design graphic that Jerry came up with is going to look really nice to go with this too. So really, really happy with how the whole thing turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll be back Thursday night for our TrekWorks Presents live 1-hour show. We'll be back to work on the Reliant and several other projects we've got going here. So it's full steam ahead. And then Saturday night we'll be back with the Model Shop guys. Jeremy will be here. He's fully recovered and ready to go. So back to the usual routine, guys. All right, thanks again. We'll see you next time. And until we do, happy modeling, everyone.